Morning all. How are we all doing? Welcome to another Thursday of fun. Early morning. It's getting hard to do these early morning ones, isn't it? 10 to 8, blimey. Dedication. Morning Andy. Right, so this morning just going to cover my EA positions that I've got on. Have a look at the news for the day, and then we'll get ready for the Frankfurt Open and see if we can trade a bit of Frankfurt Open. I might try and get into a couple of futures positions this morning as well. I managed to pull the futures account back yesterday. Dramatic recovery from that $500 loss. I managed to get about 330 up, I think it was. So yeah, managed to ride the end of the S&P yesterday, which was a bit of a jammy trade, but hey. Morning, Trevor. So how long we got? 7 minutes. Right, so let's have a quick look at where we are. So position trading wise, I said yesterday I'm trying to get flat on everything. So managed to wake up in time for once. Good man. So this is the H1M5 account. Now flat. Took a 1.7% loss yesterday to get flat. So going to be around about 1% down for the month so far, and flat. Auto trading's turned off. So I'm not going to be letting that run any positions at the moment. So yeah, happy with that. Flat on that. H4M15 flat. Took a 5% loss yesterday. Managed to get out the last position this morning. With a 0.5% loss, which was the euro odd. Is that right? No, it wasn't. It was the pound New Zealand. There we go. So got out of that one flat, pretty much flat. 0.5%, it's nothing. So 5% loss on that account this month so far. The trend pullback, H4M15. Got flat on that this morning. Tiny little loss, basically a break-even trade. So 0.7% on that. And H4M15 cot bias, that one still got two positions on the pound CAD and the pound odd, which I'm managing. That's taken a 5% loss yesterday, 1.5 the day before. Managed to bank a little bit this morning. Closed out pound New Zealand, I think it was this morning. Yeah, so all the pound New Zealand trades were closed out in profit this morning. The pound Swissies yesterday, way over leveraged on this with pound. So happy with that. So all overall, obviously the accounts, these are all new accounts, started February. When did I start these accounts? Brain's gone dead. December. Yeah, started trading them January. So yeah. So overall they're all in profit nicely, but this month is not good. I'm not going to push it this month. So as soon as I've got this flat today, one way or the other. So the positions on these, basically, I've got pound CAD and pound odd. So I've got pound odd, got two positions on. Pound's coming down this morning. If we break lows today, I'll give it a little bit of breathing room. If we break lows today, I'm out flat on it. I'm going to take a loss on that, which will be roughly probably about 2.5%, something like that. Pound CAD, same thing. I've got the stops all underneath these lows. So if we push down on the pound today any further and we take these lows out, I'm out. Because if this happens today, I don't think it's coming back up. So I just want to be flat. I've got plenty of profit in the bank to play with, and this is why we build this pot in case we get things like this happening. But obviously, this is the first time this has ever happened to me trading through a war. So, just got to get flat. So I'll probably take, if the pound pushes down today, I'll probably take another 6.5-7% loss on the account, which is fine. It is what it is at the moment. You just have to deal with it. So yeah. So that's where I am with the EAs. So flat across the board on everything apart from cot bias, which was over leveraged anyway. So yeah. Finally flat. So I can concentrate on intraday basically. Morning Harry. Morning Diamond. It's going to be a great day. I can just feel it. Good. positive mental attitude. What a roller coaster ride yesterday. Your thoughts on the US dollar yen in a short? Thinking of taking another position. Have a look at that in a sec. Let's just have a quick look at that now. US dollar yen is just coming up to resistance at the moment. I wouldn't be shorting the US dollar at the minute. The US dollars are long. You can trade it both ways because I mean it's difficult. It's difficult to sort of analyze at the minute, but you can trade it both ways because the Aussie dollar yen is the one where we've got two safe haven currencies against each other. So you're going to find that you're probably going to have a decent amount of movement. So this hasn't got extended though at all. So if you've taken a short one, I suppose you've taken H1 short yesterday, I guess, yeah. So if you've taken H1 M5 short yesterday, obviously it didn't give you the exit. So up here today, you're extended already. So yeah, another position, but depends where you got in. 115,400. Around there. So that's about half an ADR, pretty much to the highs there. So yeah, I mean, half an ADR is an aggressive second position. That is where I'd probably look to take it at the moment, because you haven't really got any other levels coming up until here. So 115,400. So you're looking at half an ADR there and looking at just over an ADR there. So for me, I would be saying, yeah, get in second position here. And then your exit is literally 15 pips, which is, you know, a decent 4-hourly candle, basically. And plan your next entry up there. So entry 1, entry 2, entry 3. So a bit more space between those two, which will bring your average. Your average, you've got such a massive ADR on this. I don't think you'll have a problem. Obviously, bear in mind we've got non-farm payroll tomorrow, so you know you're going to get some movement. We've got PMI this. Let's go through the news while I'm talking about news. We got PMI this afternoon and Powell at 3 o'clock, and then tomorrow we got non-farm before market open. So there's plenty of volatility opportunities on the US dollar. So if the US dollar pushes in either direction, yeah, if we have a push down on it, you're out. If we have a push up on it, they're going to take profit. You're out. So you shouldn't have an issue getting out of it. It's the safest thing to trade, really, at the minute, because obviously these guys are going to move in opposition in different sessions as well. So what's the time? 8 o'clock. We're open. Market open. Let me just launch my futures platform as well, because I'm probably going to look at S&P trades too. So I finished on 377 yesterday. So we'll have a look at all the FX pairs in a minute. Let's have a quick look at where we are on the DAX. So open is down. So let's just a quick look where we are on the daily. Actually, let's. So DAX obviously is in utter free fall at the moment. Yesterday we were looking, it's just chopped around a lot yesterday, a lot. I was lucky to get out of it with a profit on the futures account, to be honest. But today yesterday we did the pullback on this drop. Yeah, so we got the 50% pullback, and then we came back off the highs. Today we've put in a fairly decent opening range already before the open. So it's difficult to tell which way we're going to go today because we're very, very extended. We've put in a new low yesterday, but we are an awful long way away from the 24 at the minute. So it seems like it wants to kind of sit around for a little bit. So difficult to sort of gauge. So plan today for me, really, if we have a look at the S&P and that as well while we're here, while the open is going on. The Dow, the S&P and the NAS have all kind of pulled back to 24. So I'm definitely looking for short opportunities on these today. We've had a lot more bullish price action than I was expecting. So we've kind of gone into like an accumulation here for this week. Market's a little bit stuck. But the 24 is coming down very nicely on top of things. So when we have the moving averages, one of two things tends to happen with the moving averages. We either get a pull away from the moving average and then a pull back to it, or we get a pull away from the moving average and an accumulation where the moving average then catches up with price, and that is when you get the drop. That's what we're seeing at the moment. We've got a 5-day accumulation where the moving average is now coming down on top of price, which is where we would tend to see the next leg down start from. That's happening across the board on the S&P, the Dow, and the NASDAQ. So DAX is the only one which is in free fall and far away. So there's a bit of conflicting information there. DAX is probably either going to do a pullback or do an accumulation waiting for the 24, whereas the others are already at the 24 and likely to get pushed down. So difficult to call, isn't it? Pound CAD has hit weekly range. Morning, Franco Mayo. So we'll see what happens with it this morning, but really difficult to gauge directional bias on it at the moment. Could do anything, but we've had that pullback, which is, remember yesterday I said what I'd be looking for today was the pullback. We got the pullback. We just got chopped to death when we got the pullback, unfortunately. So difficult one today. Big old range gone in already. So potentially we could pull up further and then drop, but equally, it's due a pullback to the 24 on the daily. So difficult to read directional bias today. So I'm going to leave the open at the moment, just let it establish itself and see if we can get some directional bias on it. Morning, Mark. Indices wise, futures wise. So there's your opening range. So there's a big old opening range today. Look. We've got 700 point opening range. Big old opening range today. So I'm going in with a fairly large risk today. In fact, I'm going to go in with a slightly larger stop on it as well. With a view to getting in and out fast, because yesterday got chopped quite a lot. We went into that expanding range yesterday, which was just hideous and horrible. Expanding ranges are horrible to trade. So I got caught out with getting positions into profit quite a lot and then getting that profit taken away. So I'm going to go in with slightly larger lot sizing today and aiming to get out faster. So much quicker movement, much quicker scalps. Just to try and get in and out as quick as possible, really. So we've got a bit of a pop at the opening range high. I just want to see if we can establish some kind of range before I jump in this morning. Morning, Senny. Want to be a bit cautious. So the whole market's opened with a bit of a big flurry of volume at the open. No more directional bias there. Looks like it wants to go long, doesn't it? So this was the 50% retracement yesterday. Was that the 50% retracement? Yeah. So we'll see what happens when we get up to that high. If we can get a good strong push up to that high today, look for a first short up at that high. I'm not going to play the opening range today. Actually, what I might do, I've got 900. Got 1 minute left on this candle. I'm going to see how this candle closes. If we do get a decent bullish looking close on it, I might take the opening range high on this and have a big wide stop and see if we can just push up to that high. Okay, getting a long one there. And buy stop above the high, add into the position, aiming for the highs. So we've got this big propulsion gap here, which be looking for support in there. I'm going to try and stick to strict targets today as well. I think at the moment you've got to kind of try and go for a percentage target a day and stick to it. It's very easy to overtrade in this market at the moment because it's so difficult. Well, for me it is anyway, because there's so little profit position trading opportunities out there at the moment with what's going on. Trying to squeeze too much money out of the scalping, which leads to overtrading, which can be dangerous. So I'm trying to get to a specific profit target, just get a couple of percent in the bank, and then leave it at that for the day. I'm quite fortunate, obviously, because I've got a futures account as well, so I can trade this and try and get a couple of percent banked on this account, and then move over to futures and trade that one in the same way in the afternoons. But if I see a decent opportunity this morning on the indices, I'll take it on here as well. Which we might come up and test these highs. Just waiting to see what this candle does. If this candle closes an inside bar, I might look for a long opportunity out here. We've got tweezers tops going in at the moment across the board as well, though, so bit of a bearish signal. Few percent a day, yeah, that's the thing to do at the minute, Trevor, is just try and get in fast, get out fast. I was thinking about this last night. I was lying in bed thinking about what to do today, because I closed out quite a lot of the positions yesterday, the position trading positions, as to whether or not to even bother trading at the moment on anything, even intraday, because even the intraday market at the moment is so incredibly volatile. We're seeing huge movements just getting dumped into the market. This, I think, was around the time that we had who was it? It wasn't Bailey, was it yesterday? It was Powell talking. But it's difficult to interpret what the market is going to do at any point in time at the minute. Even intraday, you just get these crazy moves. Like we had some really nice price action yesterday that looked absolutely brilliant, and then all of a sudden, that out of nowhere, it's just like bang, boom, 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 taken out 1.5%. It's like, where did that come from? It's just not normal, the conditions at the minute. Intraday, scalping, swinging, whatever you're doing, it's just completely unpredictable. So we're getting some bullish buyers stepping in at that propulsion gap. Might take a quick long on the S&P at the same time. Again, I want to get out fairly quick on these. Just bank small amounts as quick as can. Took your advice and asked City Index if I could get an increase in leverage, and sure enough, they pointed me to City Index Cayman operation. Yeah, 200 to 1. Cool. Yeah, if you're with a broker, basically, bear in mind your broker makes money every time you hit the button. When you stop hitting the button, they stop making money. If you turn around to your broker and say, I'm going to stop hitting the button because you won't give me the leverage I want, they'll say, what do you want? Because it's so hard. Brokers spend 50% of their profits on generating new clients because 95% of people blow their accounts within 3 months. Yeah. So they have to, every 3 months, replace their entire customer base. 95% of their customer base, which is hard work and very expensive to do. They would much rather keep you as a customer and bend the rules to keep you than let you go to another broker. So always go to your broker and ask them. They're human beings at the end of the day. You can pick up the phone to them and say, look, this is a situation. I need this leverage. Can you give it to me? Yes or no? If no, I'm going elsewhere. They will give it to you. They've all got overseas accounts, offshore operations. So, Trevor, that's why I've been absent lately, been grabbing a few percent in the Asian session. Yeah, you can scout the Asian session. Look at the Asian session today. Pre-market. And pre-market on the indices today as well. This is decent movement. There's decent movement across the board. It's just unpredictable. That's the problem. You've got to be in and out fast and just grab bits and pieces of money when you see it, I think. Speed. Feels like war on retail trader. Yeah, it is a war. Always a war on the retail trader. Their job is to take our money. Our job is to not give it to them. Want to see this high get broken. Second position. I've got the EA basically set to add in, scale in at 200 point increments. Okay, third position just got gathered up there on that inside range bar. IRB. So ultimately today, I'm looking to get out here, if we can get there. And then potentially targets today, if we're going to do this pullback deeper, 61.8 and 50. So retest of the 50 and then look at the 61.8. We've got a big propulsion gap up there to aim for. That's kind of where I'm looking for price to sort of get to if we're in a long. So I should be looking to try and buy pullbacks up until those levels. Then if we get up to there, potentially to either go into rotation or to drop for the day. Assuming we can get up there, of course. We'll do an analysis on the FX pairs in a minute. Just going to wait for this opening trade to hopefully play out one way or the other. Just want to see if we can crack these highs. If we can crack those highs, I think we'll probably pop back up to that 50 level fairly quickly. Just going to reduce risk on this. So Dow's still pushing. Nas and the S&P all stuck on inside bars at the minute. Need a break of that high just to get some confirmation of an upside. Just about done it by a pip. Morning, Rahat. On the DAX. Not enough. Just putting all my stops up. US dollar's got this gap fill to do today, which is one of the other reasons I'm long on the indices this morning, because I'm expecting the gap fill to get done fairly early in London today, which will push up the indices. But we don't seem to be having an awful lot of strength or weakness on the dollar at the minute, which is why we're a little bit stuck. Franco, I've been working 15-minute candle entry on the 5-minute. So far, okay. Missed my usual bet and check 4 hours later. What? What do you mean by working 15-minute candle entry on the 5-minute? Do you mean using M15 multi-time frame with the market reversal alert indicator? Be using M15 for directional bias and M5 for entry, have you? Michael, on the 4-hour RSI and 15-minute strategy, is there a certain RSI level that you would like to see before entry? Yeah, 70. Ideally 70, 75 ideal is my 75 is my preferred level. Anything below 75 is aggressive. Or, well, not strictly true. This is my normal level. 75 I like to see is my ideal. Just pulling down at the minute on the DAX. 68 is a very aggressive entry. 70 is a preferred entry. 75 is my ideal. 80, I'm all over it. 85, I'm jumping in with both feet twice. At 90, we don't get to. So yes, it's personal preference. What I would say is open up a chart, and back test it. Go and have a look. Go and have a look at the difference between a 68, a 70, and a 75 entry. Yeah. It can be an ADR at least sometimes, which is why I prefer 75. Yeah, look at the 75. Then look at the 68. Big difference sometimes. You're going to get a way less signals, but your signals are going to be much less drawdown. So they're safer. So we're still working within this inside bar at the minute. I'm just reducing risk on these positions. I don't want to get caught the wrong side of this. So I'm just putting my stops back to sort of the moving averages. If this candle here gets broken, potentially we're going to start downside. We haven't managed to get new highs. We've put in new lows. So market structure at the moment is bearish. I'm just waiting to see if we get this invalidated. If we do, I'm probably going to get out. We get stopped out in the S&P. potentially. Same story here, looking for this is why I've got my stop so tight on this. I'm just watching these wicks. We've got a double bottom, now we've got a triple bottom. I need that level to hold really. If we don't, I'm out. Not taking any chances or any high risks at all at the minute. Just tight. Got 1 minute left on this candle. So just retesting the opening range high here. See if we get a bounce off of that. No, we're out. It's 1% down. Be out of S&P as well. These opening range breaks at the minute, they're failing at the moment. We're not getting the movement at the open we typically see. We're not getting those runaways anymore. So these are much more tricky trades to take. Moving averages just flatlining at the minute, so range bound, so should be taking range trades, should be shorting this now really, but I don't really I've got no directional bias at the moment, so I'm going to leave that for a minute. Right, so that was a tiny little loss on the S&P. Let's have a quick look at the market first, then we'll come back to this in a sec. So ADRs today, the only thing we've had hit ADR at the moment is Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, which has hit ADR high. We're still stuck on the Aussie, New Zealand. We've broken out of this range that we were in. Big strong push up there. There's no more news on the Aussies. We've had all the news on the Aussies and the New Zealands now. So basically we're approaching the previous highs and we've had this pullback. What we were looking for was that kind of movement. And this is where I was expecting that to come in. You see I've got fib drawn on here. This area where we accumulated was where I was expecting the second leg to start. We haven't had the second leg start down. It's pushed up higher. So that area there is where I'll be looking for a double top bounce, basically, for a potential trade there. We are nicely extended now on the 4 hour again. But this Aussie dollar seems to be incredibly strong at the minute. And the New Zealand dollar, obviously, we've been expecting strength to come in on the New Zealand dollar, which we've seen across the board. But it's just not being able to get any legs against the Aussie at the moment. We've got a fairly strong Aussie dollar, stronger than usual. So lovely entry there on Aussie US lit. Shooting star going in at resistance. So Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar is the only thing that's hit ADR highs. It is a short technically at the moment. So that is a nice entry on M5. Just had the reversal alert. They took out the Asian high in London and they've run off with it. So nice short opportunity there for Aussie New Zealand. Looking for somewhere around about 15 to 20 pips out of it from where we are. So plenty of room. Yesterday's high would be your support resistance area. So nice looking little trade there on the Aussie New Zealand. That's the only thing that we've had hitting ADRs today. But as I said all week, take these with a little bit of a pinch of salt at the minute. RSI extensions, there's no difference on those. So again, on the 4 hours, Aussie dollar New Zealand actually is different. So that one's just got extended again. So nice looking short opportunity there, Aussie New Zealand. All the other RSI extensions we've got are exactly the same as they were before. So the Euro odd, absolutely, I mean, this is a catastrophic collapse for the Euro. Euro CAD, completely falling out of bed, and Euro pound, just they're all shot to pieces. Can't pick a bottom on these. We are nearly at the magic level. I haven't seen this light up for... I can't remember. I can't remember the last time we got down there. That is just collapse, basically. You can't take it long, really. I mean, it's going to, at some point, you know this is going to come back up. With what's going on at the moment, there is absolutely no way of forecasting when that's going to happen. Technicals are completely out the window. We're at new lows. So there's nothing technical to stop this. It didn't even pause. Look, it didn't even pause at the double bottom. It just went no collapse. So just stay clear at the minute of anything Euro. Euro New Zealand, again, absolutely catastrophic collapse on that one as well. Still, pound odd. I've just got out of this one. The pound odd, is that the one I just got out of? Hang on. I think it's pound odd and pound CAD are the ones I'm left in, aren't I think I might have just got out of those by the looks of that chart. Yeah, no, pound odd I'm still in. Pound CAD I've just got out of. So pound CAD, just exited that, 3.98 loss. Pound odd, I'm still in some of that. Looks like I've done a partial exit on that. No? I only had 2 positions on it. All right, okay. So that took out the lows, but didn't quite take me. Oh, no, double bottomed. Okay, so we've got a double bottom bounce off of that one. Pound CAD came down much harder. So, so obviously these ones are massively extended. Ordinarily, like I would say, I have been saying, pound is a long, but for some reason at the moment we are getting a catastrophic collapse on the pound as well, based on what's going on with Ukraine. So again, this is looking like a beautiful reversal pattern forming on this, but we've had good looking potential reversal patterns before as well. This is a lot nicer though, because we are potentially getting that W pattern. So when you get the reversal alert on the 4 hour, that is going to form the second leg of the W, which means we should get a push up, but be very, very, very careful of levels on the way back up if you're going to long these. So as I say, I'm not really interested in longing anything at the moment or shorting anything apart from the Euro, but you're never going to get an opportunity on a pullback on the Euro. If you're going to take anything, you need to stop on it at the minute. So just be careful. But that's a really nice looking entry there. That one you will have had an alert on M15, which has just been invalidated by a new low. So the alert would have been there yesterday. It's just been invalidated with a liquidity run. So potentially it looks like they've just run the stops and they're starting to push back up. So it looks like a really good long opportunity. Long way to go to get a reversal alert on that one today. So you might want to just take price action. We just had a bullish engulfing there. M5, you'll have had a reversal at that bullish engulfing. So we have just broken up back above those lows. So good looking opportunity for a long on that one. But as I say, just keep it tight. If you're going to take any positions at the minute with anything that is coming down hard. So that's what you got obviously on there. There's nothing else extended. US dollar yen on the 4 hour is very, very close to getting extended. We're at 65 on the RSI. We have double topped and just rejected. So that is a nice looking opportunity for short. Yeah. So who was in that one? So there's your second entry. M5 M5 and M15 is the same reversal alert. So there's your second entry just about to come up now. Wait for that to kick in. Take a second entry on that one. So that means the indices should be pushing now. No, they're not. Wow. Wow. Look at the Dow. Utter collapse this morning. Market not happy. Right, okay, so I'm going to set the EA to auto trade for me. I'm not going to use strong closes. I'm going to go long wicks. Bearish engulfings and IRBs short. We've got quite a range on those, haven't we? So let's get in with I'm going to give these a little bit of breathing room this morning. Just getting out with 1%. Going for an overall 2% target. Looks like a down day. So I'm going to let the EA trade this for me, basically based on the 50 moving average. Any candlestick patterns we get, retracement candlestick patterns we get, and bearish candlestick patterns we get, it's just going to auto trade for me. I'll let that run. Futures wise, I need to find an entry on this. So looking for a pullback to that wick, fill that propulsion gap, entry there, and then let's put that one a little bit higher up. 50% retracement on that candle for another entry as well. So if we can get a pullback and drop, I'll get gathered in and a deeper pullback. If we get a pullback, that's a big old collapse. Just going to check the news, just see if there's any news. No, this is just a collapse, basically. Right. So, yeah, wow. So there's your opening range break of your low. I'm not going to chase that. That thing could just collapse and keep collapsing today, but I'm not going to chase it. I'm going to wait for a pullback. Right. So on the hourlies, you got a lot more on the hourlies opportunity-wise at the moment. If you're looking to get into anything short, US dollar yen, we just looked at that one. Nicely extended above the 70. Nice bearish price action going in at the highs there. So be looking to drop down to M5 on all of these and look for entries on reversal alerts. So there's an entry just about to come in here. US dollar CAD. This is a long. So nice long opportunity there. Lovely hammer starting to form on that one. Again, M5. Just had a reversal alert on that one. So nice entry there for a long on the US dollar CAD. Pound yen. Just had the reversal alert and retest. So we just had the retest as well. But that's a nice uneven M pattern reversal off of the highs. Lovely gap. Got that drawn in. That's look at that, spot on for a 50 6018 fib retracement in a propulsion gap. Doesn't get any cleaner than that, does it? Euro pound. Don't long the euro. Euro CAD, euro odd. Up to you if you want to long it. It's looking bullish. Look at that. Looking really, really bullish, isn't it? But that you might get one candle and then it will drop. I'd just stay away from the euro. Swiss yen. Swissy's a difficult one to call at the minute because, again, it's a safe haven currency with a safe haven currency. So you're going to get a lot of this sort of spiky up-downy movement, which is fantastic for us because obviously if we pushed up to extensions, we'll get those pullbacks. So you got one working in euro, one working in Asia, and obviously that works. They both work in New York. So nice extension on the RSI. It's only just got extended though. But potentially that's a nice looking short opportunity there. CAD yen, very nicely extended. Just missed that one probably. Yeah, you've missed it. Market's off this morning. Really big moves. Aussie dollar, US dollar. Just got extended 5 minutes. So you've just had the reversal alert on that. Need to be quick on all of these today. Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, that one's reversed. We looked at that one this morning. So that's reversal alert, and it's retested off of the 1 hour RSI extension. And Aussie dollar yen. So loads of M5s all starting to play out. Very quick movements this morning. So again, if you've missed all of these, they're all still valid. You just need to wait for retracements on M5. So monitor all these on M5. And short the pullbacks up into propulsion gaps. There's the plays for you today on those. Doesn't look like I'm going to get an entry on this today. In Toolkit, if TP is 2% with 0.5% risk, does it mean 1 to 4 risk reward? Yes. If you only take one position, Rahat, that is, obviously. So yeah. So in here, if you're setting this to 1% risk, like I've got here, and I'm setting 1% profit target, that is a 1-to-1 risk reward. If I set that to 2%, 1 to 2. That is assuming you're getting in with one position. I'm set to scale in, though. So what I'm going to be doing is getting in with 1% risk. After we've moved 200 points in my direction, I'm taking another position with 1% risk. So I've got 2% risk on. So therefore, the speed of movement to get to 1% for me is much faster. So I only need to get to there. So I take one position. So let's say the stop loss is there. Draw it properly. Yeah. So that's my normal TP. So my entry is there, my stop is there, and my TP is there. After 200 points, I'm getting with the second position, which means my average to there. Now to get 1%, I only need to get to here. Tiny little movement. Yeah, that's the advantage of scaling into positions. Yeah, you get into your first position. If you get into a second position and a third position and moves one candle in your direction, you're out with 1.5% profit. That is obviously if you're doing that. But I've got it set up to obviously trade lots of candlestick patterns as well. So there's a possibility I might get into a couple of positions fairly quickly, as well as scaling in. Just want to get in and out with 2% today as fast as possible. There it was. You wouldn't have had an opportunity to not take profit on that, but yeah. Hindsight is a wonderful thing. That's a real big move, isn't it? Not going to get into any of this today. Morning, David. GJ, looking for a short. So I'm just running through your comments. Yeah. So M pattern, reversal, retest, short, target. Watched live yesterday. The Fed Chair Powell testifies. It lasted 3 hours. Did it? Blimey. That's why we had all that volatility yesterday then. You know, this is what I mean about this. This market at the minute is all over the place. It is so difficult to trade. Yesterday was probably one of the most difficult trading days I had, which has made me today stick the brakes on a little bit. And, you know, I'm not going to chase this. If this pulls back and gets me an opportunity to get in, I'll get in. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's very, very, very difficult conditions on all time frames at the moment because there's such erratic price action. So you've just got to be very, very, very careful. You know, there's no news for this. There's no news out that's causing this. I'm watching BBC News live. Forex Factory's gone down. Whoa, it's back up. Putin, you after Forex Factory? You know, I've got the news up on one of my other monitors here watching this like a hawk live for any breaking news. There's nothing. There's no reason for this. It's just market scared witless at the minute. And yeah, just massive movement with no real fundamental or technical reason. So, you've literally got to flip a coin and just work on risk reward at the moment. You're either going to get it right, or you're going to get it wrong. So yeah, very, very, very difficult. It's almost worth sitting back take the month off, which is what I was contemplating last night. I was lying in bed thinking, what do I want to do this month? Banked a good 30+% last month. Do I want to just sit here and rest and concentrate on other things? Make new videos. I've got lots of work I want to do on the price action toolkit, which I'm planning to do today. Maybe it's time to do that for a couple of weeks while this thing unfolds, because we're in very early stages of this conflict. We have no idea which way it's going to go and when. And until we do, I think we're going to have these sorts of weird, volatile conditions, which is great for trading, for making money. Yeah, if you were short on that, if you'd taken that bearish engulfing there, well done. But, you're never going to be able to foresee that sort of movement happening. So we've got sell stop underneath that IRB. If we get continuation move down. Rahat, to only trade ORB, will the EA open a trade on candle close? Yes. Yep, so that ORB, basically, the ORB trade works on candle close. So if you were trading ORBs today, that would have been your entry long, and your stop would have been put at the ORB low. You'd have been taken out there. Your entry short would have been there, and your stop would have been there. So you would be in profit by 1-to-1. So your entry would have been there. So you'd have had a 860 point stop and 770 profit so far. Obviously you're still in it, or I don't know, it depends what you took, what you were targeting. Whenever it crosses the close, it will keep opening and closing. No, only trades once. An ORB is an ORB. If the ORB fails, it's failed. It doesn't every time it crosses that line, it doesn't take a trade. That's just a range. Yeah, only trades once. The opening range breakout trade is a one shot, one kill. It either works or it fails. That's it. You're in, you're out. That's it. You don't keep taking opening ranges, because you could do that. You could sit there and do that 20 times. You don't want to go long 20 times, do you? When trade using the buttons, is it possible also to give TP percentage option on the chart below the stop loss? Not really, no. It's a bit complicated. You don't really need it, I don't think. I mean, the idea of this is to get in quick, yeah? So at the moment, we're roughly looking at sort of 600 points per candle, yeah? So you want to be looking something like that. Or something like that. 1.5-to-1 risk reward. You don't need to go with percentages. Your percentage is risk. TP, if you want to get out at a percentage reward, it does that automatically for you in here. This is what this is for. We don't need it up there. It's here. Exit at percent. Yeah, if you want to risk 1% and get out at 1.5%, done. Yeah, you don't need it up here as well. It's already, the EA is already doing that for you behind the scenes. Because you can modify this as much as you like. You can keep going in here, and as you can see, I change it all the time if I want it to do things. This is the whole thing about this. Is that you've got to be adaptable to market conditions. I've seen what's going on here, yeah. So these are way bigger candles than normal, yeah. So adjust your stops, or make sure that you're using just last candle, or this candle. That's what it's for. It's so you can be adaptive. You can adapt on the fly and just change stuff as you need to. Have you done CAD Yen? I think so. I can't remember. Did I do CAD Yen? Yeah, CAD Yen was an H1 RSI extension. Very big one. M5 reverse alert. We just had it. So look for retests. Pull back and drops. Potentially. Assuming we are going to reverse here. You know, as I said at the moment, I have no idea. The market will go wherever the hell it wants to at the moment. Well, it always does, but the reversal indicator predicted the DAX move on M5. The reversal indicator predicted that DAX move on M5. Oh, sorry. My builders have just turned up. I might have to fly in a second. Yeah, well, when I mean the reversal alert gave you a reversal alert on M5 back there, but that was yesterday. So different different system. But yeah, I mean, you can use this. Obviously, you can use a reversal alert on indices. Works absolutely fine. But this is longer term. Obviously, M5. With reversal alerts, when you're not trading on price action, it's obviously very different. Slower entries, wider stops. Antonius, no problem. Short S&P target 43.45. $43.45. Yeah. Those highs there, potentially. Difficult to tell with the S&P. I think the way this has come down this morning, I would imagine this is coming down a lot faster. Well, after cigarette break, my euro jumping higher. Yes. Yeah, be careful with those euros. I'm tempted to take a short on this, but I've got a feeling it's going to pull back deeper than this. So just keep an eye on this triple bottom here. So got a nice pullback into this propulsion move here. So see if we get some sellers stepping in here. Take a short below that low. If not, looking to come back up and test in that area there, which would be a 50% retracement on that move. New Zealand dollar yen. Nice double top gone on the New Zealand dollar yen. I mean, typically, New Zealand dollars are long at the minute, but the yen obviously is potentially where we're seeing money getting pumped into. So it's a difficult one to call. They're all difficult to call at the minute. It's not extended, so it's not really something I'd be interested in from a position perspective. But obviously, we've just put a nice double top in. We've taken out yesterday's high. So potentially liquidity run and drop. Got extended yesterday. I mean, the trade was really yesterday on that one up here. But it didn't really give you a lot. 30 pips, not even third of an ADR. So nice M pattern though on M5. Very nice looking M pattern. Just reversing at the moment. So pending order under the low there. Potentially come back and target that level there. Franco, why you're an experienced trader? Why do you use an auto trader instead of your brain? I'm using my brain. How does it help me? How does this what the dashboard? I developed this because MT4 doesn't give you the opportunity to get in and out and adjust your positions on the fly. The auto trading side of things is basically it just does it for me. Yeah, I know if I get a certain candlestick pattern appearing, I'm going to want to get into the market. So why not let the EA do it for me? This is not auto trading for me. It's basically placing the positions I want it to place based on what I would do anyway. So rather than me going down here and going sell stop, it does it for me. That's all. This is Robo Forex. Broker, by the way. Still think that was going to want to get done today. So we're just taking those highs out. I'm just going to put a sell stop under this low as well. So sell stop under the low, stop under the high of this candle. So as we're pulling back here, I don't know how far this is going to pull back before it drops. If we're going to get a decent move, I want to make sure that I start getting gathered in on the move. So I'm just going to trail some positions as we're pushing back, ready for next leg, assuming we're going to get next leg. I'm all for ease, Franco. So, you know, the market reversal alert EA, I don't need it to trade, but it just makes my life easy. If I can use automation and semi-automation to make my life easier, brilliant. I mean, I don't need I don't need it to tell me when there is a strong close propulsion candle. I can see it, but this is just saying that the EA has identified this. Therefore, if you were to auto trade strong closes, it would have entered you there and it would have entered you there. So you don't need it. It's just it makes life easier. But buttons, if you're scalping, you do need buttons. You don't have buttons in MT4. It's just severely lacking. to adjust my lot sizing and things, I've got to go like that, and I've got to measure 500 points. So 500 points off of my account balance to risk 0.5% should be da 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 da. This button just does that. It automatically does all of this for me. That's why I've got this. That's what I originally built it all for. But obviously the auto trading side of things is what makes life easy. It's just, if I go downstairs and get a cup of tea now and get stuck talking, and we get a beautiful long wick rejection candle off of the 200, the EA will get me into it for me, so I don't have to worry about missing signals. But equally, I will be manually adjusting what the EA is doing based on what I can see as well. Best of both worlds. So I've got gathered into one short S&P. Take second entry on new low put in below that candle. Third entry, new low below that candle. Exit the lot down there. Stop out up there if we're going to go into one of these stupid ranges that we seem to be getting every now and again. So again, here we've got an inside bar, spinning top, indecision. So again, there's a trade opportunity there as well. But that one, because at the moment, the higher that candle and the entry would be very tight stop, I probably want to use a pip amount for that entry. So I'll go with a sell stop under that candle as well. But the stop will be further away on this one. So obviously auto calculates my risk and enters a completely different lot size for me, dependent on my risk and how far away I'm deciding to place my stop based on what I can see. Because I don't want my stop to be that tight on that one. I want my stop to be a bit wider, because potentially we're going to come up into that propulsion gap and retest that area. We may not. We may just go from here. But if we are going to do that, I want to make sure I've got a little bit more space on that position, on this one, on this entry here. So you can, that's the whole point of this, is to be able to, think, right, hang on, if I'm going to get into here, do I want a tight stop or do I want a weak, loose stop on it? Probably a little bit looser on this one, a little bit less aggressive. So you can just quickly adjust your positioning. That's basically what it's for. Two and a half minutes left on this candle. NAS is going. Or thinking about it anyway. So at the moment we've only got 38 retracement in play. So potentially we could retrace all the way up to 50 to 68 level, which is where I've got my second sell limit. So if we push up, I'm going to add to my position. If we push down, I'm going to add to my position. Assuming, obviously, market structure is going to continue short for the session. Who knows? For the market reversal alert retest setting, how many bars before it appears would you recommend to be the safest? So basically, I like to see a good couple of bars. At the moment, mine is set to 1, I think. Yeah. But for me, the idea behind this, this is what people asked for this. It was something that I put in because a lot of people said, can it do retests? Because obviously it does make M and W patterns. That's the idea of it. I prefer to have sort of about 3 to 5 candles, because what I'm looking for from a retest signal, just been gathered into a position there. What I'm looking for from a retest signal is for price to have given a reversal alert here. Yeah. And then I want it to move in time and come back and retest and then push away. What I don't want to see is a reversal alert, 1 candle drop, and then a push. What I'd rather see is some time pass after the reversal alert before we come back and retest. So there's no real right or wrong, and I've done testing on this, and somewhere between 3 to 5 candles typically is pretty good. And that will give you, when you get the retest arrow, that will give you that nice M pattern. Yeah, so we're saying reversal alert happened here somewhere. We've pulled back into this zone between the reversal alert and the high, and we've closed back down below the reversal alert. That's the retest arrow. So I want to see a nice M or W. So the more candles you use, the more distance you'll find will be between those, the better your signal will look. But there's no right or wrong. So I've got 3 positions on this one now. I'm starting to think maybe adding in as well as taking candlestick patterns is potentially a little bit over leveraging today, but hey, we'll see. 3 short now on S&P. So it's quite a tight stop on this one. Actually, no, sorry, that's that one, isn't it? Yeah. So we've got stop above the high. Jeez. See what I mean about this market at the minute? Just unbelievable price actions. Just so wiki. So watching the retracement levels here. If we get anything more than a shallow pullback on this, I'm going to get stopped out in these positions. Got some breaking news coming in. US Defence Secretary holding press briefing with Estonian Defence Minister. It's happening live at the minute. Not quite sure why, but... Okay, decent rejection out of there now. Got to be. This is why I've put wider stops on these positions, because of these wicks. If you see here, look, when we got this big move started yesterday, we had these huge retracement wicks, yeah, and then we had this huge wick there. So the market is at the moment is very, very, very wicky. It's very difficult to scalp. You've got to be in and out fast, or you've got to give yourself loads of breathing room, which obviously limits your ability to make money quickly, because obviously the bigger your stop, the further you've got to have price travel to get a decent reward. So God, S&P's retracing all the way back in. Dow is retracing. NAS is retracing. Which news channel am I watching? Just BBC at the moment. Just on iPlayer, BBC News 24/7. So that's a push up on the US dollar. Maybe they're not going to come down and do this. It's the big wicks that take retail traders out. Yeah. This is the problem with scalping. These wicks. This is why you need to adjust, basically. You know, when you see big candles coming in, which is why this is why I put the ATR in here. Setting to use ATR, but the trouble with ATR is when you get an accumulation like this, your ATR drops to a small amount, therefore your stops then become small, and before you get a move you get a big wick and that takes you out. So it's difficult to use ATR as well. Very, very difficult. I think with ATR, if you're going to use it, you need to use a bigger number than 5. It's defaulted to 5 because I wanted to keep it recent, but I think maybe using something along the lines of 15 to 20 is possibly going to be a better level to use, but a lot of indecision going on here at the minute. Buyers getting absorbed, sellers are getting absorbed now as well. No direction. Hopefully we haven't just found the low of the day. Be sort of law. So that low is an area of interest to see if we get bounced down there. If we get there, we're not getting there. Jeez. Very wicky today, isn't it? So news-wise this afternoon, basically, we just need to be aware of the unemployment claims at 1:30. Don't tend to do a lot, but we may get some movement off the back of those. Then 3 o'clock. So market open today is when half an hour after market open is when we're going to get the most movement coming in with PMI, and then Powell. I'm not quite sure where he is. Testimony usually comes in 2 parts. Yep. Semi-annual monetary policy report. That's the same as he was doing yesterday, wasn't it? Yeah. So it's the same thing. So, I mean, we had the movement yesterday off of that. I can't see he's going to say anything different today than he did yesterday, is he? So I would imagine services PMI is probably the only thing we need to worry about this afternoon from a movement perspective. But we'll see. Another sell stop just gone in. Just going to bring my stops down just above these highs, just in case. Big wick on S&P 5 minute. Yeah, there you go. 4 short now. So we just took out the 61.8 level. Sellers obviously stepped straight in there. Nice move. Bearish price action coming in now. Just going to get gathered up on a new sell stop underneath this IRB. Get a lot more of these IRB signals than you do anything else. They're good signals. I like. Okay, another short. I'm going to close it. I'm 1% down. I'm going to close these out at 2% just to get 1% gain in the bank at these lows, because I've got the S&P trade on as well. Struggling at these lows, isn't it? I want to see it get a pop out the bottom here and just gather up all the pending orders down there and slam through them, but we're struggling to get anywhere near these lows again now at the moment. Just accumulating. Don't like the look of this price action down here. There's a lot of absorption of the sellers coming in at the moment. Every time we're pushing down, we're getting absorbed. I've got 1 minute left on this candle. Can make a decision maybe to get out of this if this candle doesn't close down below this low. If it closes down below this low, I think we'll probably go, but it's struggling. There's a lot of buyers down here. You can see since that level there where we stopped, buyers stepped in. We rejected it. We're rejecting it. Looks bullish. Give it 30 seconds. No, I'm out. Don't like it. It's bullish. Closing that out as well. $46. Just doesn't sit. It doesn't sit right. Looks like it's flagging, but it's really struggling to get any downside momentum. I've got too much position size on to take a risk on that. That would have been a 3% loss. So I've got a sell stop underneath that IRB. Andy, can I explain the IRB again? Yeah, so basically IRB is a inventory retracement bar. So the concept basically is it's a stock concept, which translates obviously into indices because they're stock related anyway. But it's a pullback bar where you see when I was when we had this big move down and we started to pull back, I started entering pending orders underneath the lows. Yeah. Waiting for price to push back. So basically, IRB is inventory retracement bar is a pullback or a profit take, if you like, after a strong move. There's loads of videos on it. It was created by I can't remember his name. Hoffman. Mark, you know this, don't you? Hoffman. What's his name? Mark Hoffman? No, I don't know what his name is. But yeah, basically, it's a kind of a profit take bar. So the concept is sellers push down and retrace by a minimum of 45% on the candle. Yeah. So you get a long wick. If that wick is then broken, it's a sign of continuation. So the pending order goes underneath the IRB. The important thing with with these candlesticks is that they are happening after a strong move. So the way that I think most people tend to look at it is looking at the angle of a moving average, typically the 20. But the problem with the angle of the moving average is the angle of the moving average changes depending on your view of the market. So you can see how nice angled that is here, right? Let me just keep that drawn in, actually. If I now switch to a different view, the angle of that gets a lot steeper. If I squish my chart up, the angle of the moving average gets a lot shallower. So you can't actually use the angle of the moving average as a measurement. There's no indicators out there that can accurately measure angle of attack. So you have to kind of eyeball it. But my kind of view on it is if we've had a big strong push and we are starting to pull back, that is it for me. If you get Rob Hoffman, that's it. Thank you. If you get a load of IRBs in an accumulation, they're useless because all they are is indecision candles. They're buyers and sellers retracing, which is what they do. The idea of these is they're a profit take candle. Inventory retracement is what he calls it. But it's basically the same concept as the propulsion candle, propulsion gap, basically. You get a strong move, we retrace, and then whoever created that move steps in to add to their positions. This is like inventory, if you like, being added to. But it's the opposite side of it. So where we look to sell in a pullback in the propulsion gaps, because that's what typically happens, they get retested and it drops from there. These are getting in after confirmation of move in that direction. But there's loads of videos on it out there on YouTube, so go and look at them. But it's a candlestick pattern I've kind of been aware of, but never really looked into in any detail. And I was asked to look at it and put it in, so I did. It's a good pattern. You know, like a strong close propulsion candle. We know a propulsion candle or a strong close candle is a good selling candle. So we signal on those. We know that long wick candles are good for selling. So put those in. Bullish and bearish engulfings. We know they're good price action candlesticks. So any good price action candlesticks that you think would be beneficial to have in here, I can add them. But I don't want to overload it with every candlestick pattern under the sun, because you'll just end up getting signals left, right and centre. But IRBs, long wicks, bullish and bearish engulfings are my favourites. IRBs are kind of indecision. But anything that's pulled back, basically, any candlestick pattern that is a pullback in a trend, you can put a pending order under, is going to work. They're good. New Zealand dollar yen doing okay. I'm at break even. See what happens. Yeah. So there you go for talking about the retest. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles there, and we got into a retest. Yeah, so that's kind of what I like to see. So it's basically confirming market structure. So we've got in this case we had the M pattern causing the reversal alert. The retest is the next leg down. So you've got that market structure forming. So initial push, pullback. Shallow pullback, reversal alert, pullback, retest alert. Yeah, so it's just giving you the second or third leg, depending on whether we have the reversal alert on the first leg, or in this case, the second leg. So that will either be the third leg or the second leg, depending on what happened with the reversal alert before. So, but you want to give it a bit of distance. Yeah, so 2 or 3 candles is ideal. But there's lots of there's lots of videos out there that explain it way better than I just did. They probably go much more into the technicals of what what he classes as inventory. Inventory is just kind of it's just amount of stock available to trade today, I guess, is probably what he's referring to. Look at this hideousness. Look at these wicks. I'm staying out of this. It's wicky and horrible at the moment. I'm going to let the EA gather me into some of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go super scalpy. I'm going to take 0.5% profit. So I'm going with a negative risk reward ratio, just to get in some fast moves, basically. If we can get a push below there, I'm going to be out in a candle or two at most. I think that's really the best thing to do at the minute with these massive, horrible wiki accumulations we're in. This thing could easily push back up. We haven't done a proper retracement on this. We've done a 38 retracement, which is shallow. It's not got any directional bias, is it? So I'm going to leave it for this morning. Have another look this afternoon. I'll probably do more futures this afternoon. Keep your eyes peeled, obviously, today for opportunities. But I think most of the opportunities you're going to find today were the 1 hour RSI extensions. We're ahead of non-farm payroll tomorrow. So difficult to tell what's going to happen with non-farm tomorrow. I suspect what we will probably see is just a horrible wick fest, and they will do some sweeps of highs and lows basically in non-farm, because there doesn't seem to be any directional bias on the US dollar at the minute. This was the initial move when the invasion started, and since the invasion started we've got no directional bias. We've come back up and retested those highs and we've found support. So where we go from here really, I suspect, is probably going to be that, and again that's what will probably drive the indices down, but who knows. So non-farm payroll tomorrow will depend on where we go today. So if today we kind of stay within yesterday's high-low range and put an inside bar in on the daily, non-farm tomorrow has got the opportunity to stop hunt both levels. So we could see a rotation day going in today. But that's in normal market conditions. I've no idea really what's going to happen at the minute. It's all going to be dependent on what goes on with Russia. Lavrov, I'm just watching. Lavrov is live. He's been broadcasting live for the last sort of 10-15 minutes. So I've been watching out the corner of my eye. He's basically accusing Ukraine government of persecuting Russian-speaking Ukrainians. So they're still going along this stance of it's all Ukraine's fault, which obviously the rest of the West completely disagrees with, but they are sticking to it, and he's been following those lines for the last 10 or 15 minutes. So, if they continue to do this, I can see the West getting dragged into it in some way, shape or form, and what impact that's going to have on the market is, anybody's guess. Can I please send you some screenshots on Telegram and set files for the EA that I have running? Yeah, by all means. Some lovely spam just landed in the Telegram group. By order of the Russian Ministry of Economy, Forex trading with the ruble and the purchase of gold leverage in Russia was stopped and banned until the end of 2022. What? I'm assuming that is spam. If that's somebody that's in the Telegram group posting that, you're about to get banned. Send me your set files if you want to. That's fine. This time of the month ago, we were asking why is the euro so strong? Yeah, we were. Yeah, crazy, isn't it? But we shorted the hell out of it, didn't we? All the way up there. We started shorting it here. That's where we started shorting it, and then it went whoop. That was the rate announcement, wasn't it? So basically, we started shorting the 24 bounce, and then they came out and said, yes, our rates are going to stay as expected, which you would expect that to happen. Then that happened, and everyone went, what the hell? And then the ECB came out and said, you've overreacted to this. You've got it all wrong. And then the market went, oh, yeah, the euro's crap. Yeah, nuts. And now look. You do not want to get the other side of that thing at the minute. Really don't. It's just an utter nightmare, the euro. Anyway, I'm going to call it a day there. I don't really want to trade this morning. And there's nothing to trade. I'm really going to keep it all very, very light and nothing at the minute. Practicing, coding, anything to keep me away from trying to overtrade the markets. You've got to be trading A+ setups at the minute, and they're just not really out there at the moment. So I'm just going to keep it nice and tight. These IRBs in a strong trend are very good. I'm going to do some back testing this week as well. I'm going to spend a fair bit of time in the tester looking at the strike rate of these candlestick patterns individually. So just concentrating on strong closes. And I'm just going to try and find some optimal settings for each of these and potentially code into the EA options for individual TP and stop losses for each individual candlestick pattern is my kind of next step on this. Starting with the ability on these to have stop above the highs, especially on these IRBs. That one would have got taken out. So this IRB here, for example, pending below the low, stop above the high. So rather than using an ATR or a stop loss point basis, using the high to put a stop. So that one would have obviously got taken out. That one there hasn't triggered yet, but the stop loss would be there rather than where I've got it at the moment, which is a point distance. So I'm going to do a little bit of experimentation in the EA and just code in some different scenarios and do some testing in the strategy tester. Not to generate profit, but just to see what the best strike rate is on maybe a 1-to-1 ratio or a 1.1-to-5 ratio. Just to enhance the EA for those that want to use this more for auto trading. But, you know, as I say, I don't really use it for auto trading unattended. I use it for auto trading so that it can get me into those positions. If they don't trigger, I'm sitting here at the moment watching this accumulate, thinking I'm going to hit the cancel button in a minute because it's not happening, is it? So that's kind of what I'm using the auto trading for. But yeah, I want to spend some time doing that really and trying to create some set files for this EA to see if there are any decent set files that we can incorporate to put some sort of better semi-automated trading into place with these, and looking at sessions as well. Obviously, if there's anything more effective in different sessions than other sessions. So at the moment, I think rather than trading, time is best spent doing other things because you're highly likely to get chopped to pieces at the moment. And obviously, if you've got any funded accounts as well, it can be obviously a fatal period if you're trading funded. So. Okay, so I'll be back at 2 o'clock this afternoon for the New York Open. Bear in mind you've got unemployment claims before that at 1:30 this afternoon, so I'm back at 2 o'clock. The 3 o'clock news is the main one for PMIs and Powell. So, all right, so have a good morning, whatever you're doing, and hopefully I will see you at 2 o'clock this afternoon.